The STV Radio Football Show is brought to you by C.R. Smith. C.R. Smith are Scotland's top-rated window and doors company on Trustpilot, rated 4.9 out of 5, with over 5,500 reviews. C.R. Smith have fitted over 1 million windows and doors across Scotland. They offer great financial rates, so you can get the best product for your home at an affordable rate. We're all lovers of the beautiful game. Well, C.R. Smith make beautiful windows for beautiful homes. It's an open goal. Head to crsmith.co.uk for more info. Now it's time for the podcast.
The STV Radio Football Show, brought to you by C.R. Smith.
Hello and welcome to the STV Radio Football Show USA, brought to you live from Boston. I'm your host, Ronnie Charters. On the opposite side of the veranda, Callum Bell.
Hello, your veranda's much nicer than mine.
As I'm the star. And the... what do you call him? The one and only, Mr. Ewen Cameron, in a dingy wee Glasgow studio because he's too much of a shite bag to come out to America. Ewen Cameron, everybody, how are you?
Hello, Ronnie. Hello, Callum. I would also concur with Callum Bell that your veranda is a lot nicer than where Callum is. And you've got that lovely, that hanging basket behind you of flowers.
Yeah, it's also just framed nicely, you know, I'm going to tell him. And I will say that the up next studio that we use actually looks lovely. I'm only winding you up. Thank you for joining us. It's at time of recording, it's the morning after the night before a disappointing 1-0 defeat to Morocco leaves our qualification hopes hanging in the balance as we head to the sunshine state of Florida to take on Brazil on Wednesday night. Before we get to the football, Ewan, I suppose this is our farewell to Boston. The last day of what's been 8 days of absolute madness. Madness. But still, nonetheless, these Tartan Army fans will never forget Boston. The last few days. We were joined by Kat Harvey for the previous podcast. She said the time of her life, by the way.
Yes.
Every video. I saw an interview in Rab Douglas the other day. That comes in.
Do you know what I would say, Ronnie and Callum? Do you know what I would say? The Tartan Army have done more for Scotland than any government official has ever done for Scotland in the United States of America. And I think that there'll be so many Americans that are going to travel to Scotland and boost our economy like never before in the history of tourism between the United States and Scotland. Because I think the Tartan Army have been sensational and they've been a brilliant advert for our country. The only problem is when the people from Boston turn up to Scotland, they're going to expect us to all be running around in kilts and Scotland tops and playing bagpipes.
Ewan, it's funny you say that. Ronnie interviewed TV royalty and Dundee United's most famous fan, Lorraine Kelly, yesterday for the news at 6 for STV, which was so mad yesterday, but such good fun. And what was it she said to you, Ronnie? That in 9 months' time, there's going to be lots of little Scottish-American kids running around.
I was like,
that's what the Tartan Army have left.
All right, Lorraine. I did also, so we put it up the social media channels, right? And one of the comments were, a tired old Scottish TV queen and Lorraine Kelly. Honestly. Honestly, it's savage. No, but it's brilliant. And also, like, you just don't know what you're going to wake up to most days. I mean, we were sitting the other day, all expected to go on a big boat party, and then the governor of Massachusetts does a piss take signing haggis off as being legal, and half the country think it's real. There's butchers doing cartwheels in the streets of Pitlochry thinking that they're going to give millions of quid back because Donald Trump's going to let haggis into the country. And we're running about mental trying to speak to Americans about haggis. It's mad.
It has been a brilliant World Cup for the Tartan Army and for Scotland. I think it's been superb. And the Tartan Army have turned up. They've paid their money and they've paid a lot of money, but they've done us proud, unlike our Scotland national team. They've done us proud. I mean, they've been superb.
They've been superb. We're not done yet.
Bitchy
no, I know. But the fans have turned up. Let's be honest. Guys, you're there. You're in amongst it. The fans have turned up and they've done us proud, haven't they?
We were speaking to a guy at the airport, Ewan, who basically said he was on his way home. He got to the airport and decided he got out the taxi, turned round for one last look at Boston and went, nah, I'm staying. I just got a taxi back out of the town and booked new flights and new hotels.
That's nuts.
amazing.
See,
He
that
gets to
says it
tell his
all.
partner that. Or ex-partner now, probably, but still, it shows you that it's the fear of missing out. So many of them. Your dad, Callum.
Can I ask you both? Are you going to be sad to leave?
My dad, I think it's quite funny. He spent, my inheritance to come here, and he's had a blast. The night out we had the day before the game on Thursday night, like everyone that I go to football games with, colleagues like Ronnie, your podcast divorce partner, Stephen Mill, Gordon Duncan from Super Scoreboards there, Callum Leslie from the Radio 1 Breakfast Show, all of us on one night out, Jane Lewis from the BBC, Luke Shanley from Sky, like everyone that we spend all our time with, one mad night out, and my dad's there getting selfies of all of them. The only thing I will say is all that money spent to watch Scotland lose 1-0 to Morocco, but you don't summarise it like that. It's not quite like that.
No. Are you going to be sad to leave Boston?
Absolutely. It's honestly been... Germany was brilliant, right? Because Germany was just Germany. It's the footballing nation of Germany during the Euros. And I think, see, to be honest with you, right, see all the stories you're hearing from America way before this tournament started, it's been the opposite. It has been the funnest time. The Americans have loved us. By the way, the American waiters and waitresses, the tips that the Tartan Army are given when they're half cut, by the way, because they don't realise what they're signing on these receipts, because you need to add the tab later. I think it's free money. I saw a guy gave a lassie 50 quid for a pint of Guinness. I was like, mate, you need to hang it back a wee bit. We've got Miami to come. Honest to Christ. It's been brilliant, honestly. It's absolutely, as Callum says, there was a night, just the night before the game, where it seemed like every single Scot just flocked to basically what would be our Sucky Hall Street, their Union Street, and it's just littered with the outdoor bars, and that's what we said. It was, everyone was there, and it was just, you're looking around going, you know what, see, sometimes life is actually all right. And then the referee starts a game.
Can I just say that referee was pish? He wasn't very good for both teams. I might add, he was so bad. I don't know how he's got to the World Cup. Now, if we're deemed not to be good enough to go to a World Cup, how was he deemed good enough?
I know.
Honest to Christ,
he had a disaster.
That's two referees in a row.
And I went up to to see my dad in the stands at halftime. So we were sat in like a commentary position, which we didn't get last time. We had to kind of sneak a seat for the Haiti game. So I went up to see him. He was just up to my right. And as soon as I got there, all the Scotland fans were talking about where this referee and how much of an absolute disaster he was. My dad was livid. He was raging because I just think that was before the McTominay one, I'm sure. And the McGinn one. That was at half time. And then obviously we'll get to those decisions. But just very quickly before we get to the game, I have to mention, I sent you the video, Ewan. Ronnie, you've seen it too. I was down at South Station where the fans leave Boston to go to the Gillette Stadium, Boston Stadium. And a woman stops me and goes, "Oh, you," because I was filming for news. She went, "Ewen Cameron, I hate him. I'm from Alaska and I love your podcast." So I filmed her telling you, Ewan, that you're an absolute prick. And see moments like that. That's what warms my heart. That's what warms my cockles. That's what I'll miss about Boston. People calling you a prick. It's great.
Listen, I play that role well because I have an opinion, unlike most in the Scottish football media, and some people like it, some people don't. And what I would say is I am absolutely delighted that we've got somebody listening to us in Alaska. That's superb.
Alaska.
Oh,
Mad.
it's not just Alaska. We get a guy from the Bahamas, a guy from Toronto. There was a woman, a man from Sydney had to get a photo with his Perth, Scotland Supporters Club flag last night. It has been mental, genuinely. And I don't know what Miami will bring, right? It might be amazing. We're down by South Beach, Miami. It sounds brilliant. There's boat parties and beach parties galore. But it won't, I don't think it'll be Boston.
No.
I don't think it'll be Boston.
No.
Just the way the city has embraced it. We went to an Iron Brew challenge where they were handing out cans of Iron Brew and Americans were trying it for the first time. Genuinely hundreds of Americans turned up to this thing. We rock up. Giovanni, the podcaster, interview, whatever it is, handing out cans after cans to Iron Brew and see the faces these Americans trying this thing, right? We spotted one woman, we went down and spoke to her because her face, honestly, she could, I'm not even going to say what I'm going to say there. But basically, she was like, "I wouldn't even wash my car with this." I was like, "That's a national drink, Ken." Says, "Pipe down a bit." It's just been wee tiny wee things like that, you and are just like, what is going on? Genuinely, what's going on?
And unfortunately, the football's
Absolutely
let it down. The football has let it down. We've been one of the worst teams at the World Cup. I was watching ITV's coverage last night, and when you look at the stats, we're one of the worst teams at this World Cup.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've won a game, and teams haven't.
Oh, so I know, but then you have to look at who we've won.
Let's get to the game. I actually thought for the first 10 seconds we started no bad. I turned to him and says, "They've no." I genuinely turned to him and went, "They've no touched the ball yet." Boof! Oh, I feel bad for the guy that went to the toilet and says, "No, I'll miss the first couple of seconds. It's fine." 1-0 to the Moroccans after 54. What it was, 74, 78 minutes, whatever it was.
Seconds.
And
Seconds.
Seconds, sorry, of course. So, and I don't care. I mean, I'm not one for individualising people and whatnot, but in 74 seconds, you track the runner, you don't try and play offside, Grant Hanley. I think it was, as Steve Clark said, the worst possible start.
Yeah, it was an awful start, but I also think, and I text you boys when the lineup came out, that Steve Clark is going for a 1-0 defeat here with his lineup. The back five and a flat midfield four and Shea Adams up top on his own. There was no outball. There was no pace in that team. We didn't get anywhere near the Moroccans in that first half, and they should have been 3 or 4-0 up at half time. I thought Angus Gunn made a couple of really good saves. He's been solid for us. I think he's been really, really good. I know there's a lot of talk before the World Cup. Should it be Gordon or should it be Gunn? Well, Steve Clark actually got something right, and Gunn's done extremely well for Scotland in these 2 games. I just thought that we were poor, really, really poor. And we didn't really turn up until the final 10 minutes when Scott McTominay was pushed further forward. And that's where he should be. That's where he's at his best when he's with Napoli. He's a Ballon d'Or nominee because he scores goals, he's a threat, and he played in a flat midfield four and he never touched the ball. He was never in the game. None of our players in midfield were in the game. Buade, who I was raving about in the previous podcast, the 18-year-old, ran the show. Ferguson, I thought, was outstanding. I thought he was Scotland's best player. Next to Jack Kendricks, between Hendry and Ferguson, these 2 players, and the 2 games for Scotland have been outstanding. These 2 can come out with their head held high. As for the rest, I think we've been very, very average.
Did we watch the same game?
Yeah, we definitely did. And I was watching ITV's coverage last night, and Ange Postecoglou, you should listen to what he said about us. And every time he spoke, I thought, oh my God, I'd love him to be in charge of Scotland. He would get the best out of this squad. We've got such a great squad of players, yet we go in with a pragmatic, negative approach when our players are better than that. Do you know?
So,
here's
hold
a stat
on.
for you. Do you know?
No.
Wait, Callum. Callum, wait. Here's a stat for you, right? Do you know that Haiti have had more shots on goal against Brazil than we've had in 2 games at this World Cup?
But they've got 0 points and we've got 3. I don't really care about shots on goal. I care about how many points you've got. I think we watched a different game, Ewan, because for me, right, first half, unforgivable. I completely agree. We were dreadful and it was really frustrating to watch. Ronnie and I then went at half-time. We had a position right behind the goal, pitch side, that Scotland were shooting into. And I thought we controlled the second half. Maybe not for the first 5 minutes, but from 50 minutes onwards, I thought Scotland were absolutely the better team. I think he got his changes bang on. Maybe didn't get a starting lineup right. I think, again, John McGinn was a wee bit anonymous, apart from that penalty shout, which we will get to. I think he watched a completely different game. I thought Scotland were really good and very unlucky in the second half.
You do know that Morocco hit the bar and Gunn made 2 good saves in the second half. Bono in the Morocco goal made no saves in the game. We had no shots on target. We had not one shot on target. And you think we controlled the game? Yeah,
but I think we had 2 penalty shouts that I think 90% of people watching the game who have a neutral point of view think that they're both penalties.
And see, that's the problem, Callum. See, when we're sat here with a squad of players that we've got Lewis Ferguson in Serie A, you've got McTominay in Serie A, you've got John McGinn, who's just won a European trophy, you've got Ferguson, obviously I just said Bologna, you've got Torino with Shea Adams. We've got some really good players. You've got Andy Robertson, who's won Champions League and Premier Leagues, yet we're sat pragmatic. Do you know that John McGinn made not one tackle in that game last night? Do you know that he only made 14 passes in the entire 80 minutes he was on the pitch? And in the 80 minutes he was on the pitch, Kenny McLean came on, made more passes and made more tackles in 10 minutes than John McGinn made in 80 minutes. You've got Shea Adams, who made 7 passes in the entire game before he was hooked for Lyndon Dykes. Mate, you're saying we controlled the game in that second half. You were watching a different game from the rest of us. It's anti-football, and we're better than what we showed last night and what we showed against Haiti when we were celebrating like we beat Brazil.
How is that Steve Clark's fault that John McGinn and Shea Adams played terribly?
No, it's the way we're set up. We didn't get near them. Do you know, there was no tackles made in midfield. There was no tackles made in midfield. As I just told you, McGinn made no tackles, not one tackle. In 80 minutes of football, we made no tackles in that midfield. When you go through the stats of our players and the tackles that were made, I just told you, Kenny McLean in 10 minutes made more tackles than the majority of our midfielders.
Can Ronnie, you can jump in here because I'm sick of arguing with him. He's doing my head in already.
I know, I thought I was frozen there for a second. Yeah, I'm in two minds whether I think Steve Clarke was overly cautious, or you have to respect to an extent how good a team Morocco are. And obviously we don't know the answer to this, Ewan. If we went more for it, are we sitting here potentially 3-0 down, looking at going out? I don't know. I mean, there was no outball. I think you're right. I don't think Shea Adams can lead the line by himself. I just don't think he can. I think the difference when Lyndon Dykes came on was genuinely night and day. I think you're right. We've not, for how good he was in the qualifying campaign, I think McTominay will probably look at himself and go, I can probably be a bit more impactful here. Ben Doak, I think that was the big surprise, I think, in terms of changes. I know he made 3. I think people were looking at Ben Doak in the Haiti game and going, there was your outball. There was the guy who could run 30 yards up the field, get everyone up. And I thought that's what probably we needed in the first half against Morocco. Again, I'm going to say it. A guy like Billy Gilmore, it's crying out for somebody to just pinpoint, pick a pass and cut through defences. We just don't have that killer instinct in the final third, which is mad when you think. I know it's different, completely different. We were coming into this World Cup scoring goals. I know there was a completely different opposition and whatnot, but I don't know whether at this point I'm happy that we only get beat 1-0, or I'm sitting going, we could have got a point there. We could have got a point there because we threw it in it, but I would be cautious because I don't know if Morocco really got out of second gear.
No, they didn't. That's what Postecoglou said last night. They didn't get out of second gear last night. They played within themselves. They did what they needed to do to get the 3 points. They're guaranteed to beat Haiti as well. I thought, again, this is just me as a Scotland fan, and I've watched Scotland for over the decades. I think this is one of the best squad of players that we've had in a long, long time. I would love to have seen a Walter Smith have this squad, or a Gordon Strachan, or a Craig Brown to have this squad, because I think we've got some brilliant players in there, and they've all, for me, underperformed at the 2 Euros previously, and they come into this World Cup, and every single player, in particular Steve Clarke, says, you're going to see a different Scotland. We've learned our lessons from the previous 2 Euros. We haven't. We're still playing pragmatically. We're still sitting up defensively. We're sitting off teams. We've got no outball. We've got no pace. We look like we're never going to score a goal on the monthly Sundays. As I just said to you, Haiti in one game against Brazil last night have had more shots on target than we've had in 2 World Cup games. That's unforgivable for the squad of players that we've got. That is unforgivable. And I'm not blaming the players here. That's the way Steve Clarke sets us up. How can Haiti, the 84th ranked team in the world and the second lowest ranked team in this tournament, turn up against Brazil and have more shots on goal than we've had in 2 games in this World Cup? It's unforgivable, Ronnie, and that's down to Steve Clarke.
I don't think it's Steve Clarke's fault that Grant Hanley doesn't track a run on side 74 seconds. That's just madness.
I'm just talking about the setup, Ronnie. Ronnie, it's a setup,
No,
mate.
I get that, but you need to look at the whole picture, and you Steve Clarke on the side of the pitch is thinking, right, he set this up. And if Grant Hanley doesn't do that, we could be walking away with a decent result here and qualified. So I don't want to be too critical because we nearly got there. McTominay was, when he did that, you're right, I think he showed one moment of brilliance when he was inside the box on the left-hand side. Half the crowd thought it was in. It took a deflection when it was bearing down on goal from the left-hand side. I thought, oof, nearly. There was wee half chances. But then you're right. I mean, Scotland fans were cheering for a corner happen. It's like, come on. We're cheering for a corner.
Do you know, and I think my frustration with Steve Clarke is he is a pragmatic manager. That's his style. And Postecoglou was saying last night, Scotland's players are better than this. And he's right. And Ronnie, you know Postecoglou better than me, being a Celtic fan. But I've just got this feeling if we had a forward-thinking approach with this squad of players, if we had Postecoglou in that dugout, we're a better team than what Steve Clarke makes us out makes us look to be. I think Steve Clarke's approach is holding us back, and I've always said that, and nothing has changed in this World Cup to the previous 2 Euros. And yes, I think we will qualify out of this group. We ain't going to get anything from Brazil, but we're going to get through the skin of our teeth because we've got a better goal difference and some other shite that's in this World Cup, and we're going to get into the last 32. It's going to be hailed as the greatest achievement ever. We don't deserve that achievement. We don't deserve to be screaming about history makers.
You're driving me mental. No, sorry.
For
right,
beating
you've had
Haiti.
enough.
For beating
You've
Haiti.
had enough.
We're getting rewarded
Pipe
for...
down.
We're getting...
Shush.
Wait. You're saying
This is
we're
a
getting
manager
rewarded for
who's taken
struggling
us
to beat
to
Haiti.
3 tournaments. He's taken us to 3 tournaments, and you're telling me that he's holding Scotland back. He's literally made them do something that we've not seen in a generation. You've got the balance completely wrong here. I understand you've got your I hate Steve Clarke narrative, right? You do it all the time, and it's getting very tiresome now. At what point do you blame the players? At what point do you say, well, actually, John McGinn, Scott McTominay, Shea Adams, I'm not done yet. I'm not done.
You do
there's
man
players in midfield,
with
there's
your
players in
blinkers
defence
on.
who aren't playing to the standard that we expect them to be. You've said yourself, we've got players in Serie A, we've got players who play for Premiership clubs who've won the Champions League, who've won the English Premier League. They haven't performed. You can't blame all of that on Steve Clarke. Yes, he's to blame. A tiny bit, or a portion, some blame to him. But come on, mate. Have a bit of balance here.
The STV Radio Football Show is brought to you by C.R. Smith. C.R. Smith Windows and Doors have been going for over 50 years. That's an incredible amount of experience. They offer great finance rates so you can get the best product for your home at an affordable rate. C.R. Smith have over 150 iconic vans across the country. Find the back of the net and head to crsmith.co.uk to get the highest quality windows and doors with the most flexible ways to buy. Now it's time for the STV Radio Football Show.
The STV Radio Football Show, brought to you by C.R. Smith.
You're out there with the Scotland team, right? And before a ball was kicked at this World Cup, every single player that you, Callum, and Ronnie interviewed, and every interview that you did with Steve Clarke, they talked about how they didn't turn up at the 2 previous major tournaments. You're telling me they've now turned up?
I didn't say that. I said that
Well,
if you're going to apportion blame...
Muppet?
Let me finish, you fanny. I'm saying if you're going to apportion blame, it can't just be all on Steve Clarke. The players haven't performed. Yes, Steve Clarke can be apportioned some blame, but your whole MO of it's entirely his fault. It's all on him. He's holding the players back. No. The players haven't been good enough. That's a fact too. Ronnie, please take it away so him and I can stop arguing.
I think for the second time in a row, we have been dealt a referee that I just thought, wow. The Shea Adams one, I think, is probably because I think it's us in the Scottish Premiership. The amount of dog sows, the good old dog sows back, ladies and gentlemen, that we've been given from even within our own half, is that we look at that Shea Adams pull down 1-on-1 and think that's a stonewall red card in Scotland. But it just shows you how far away we are from FIFA referees to SFA referees. Because the whole press box jump up. We were going mental. And Callum, am I right that it's the bounce of the ball if it was along the ground, but he couldn't? You want to explain that one?
Yeah, so we're speaking to Gordon Duncan after the game, and he's best pals with Willie Callum. And I think the explanation is
he's in the Willie show.
He is in the Willie show. If the ball had been passed on the ground and you could see exactly where the ball was going to end up, and it'd been taken down, that's a red card. Because the ball's in the air, it's much harder to judge where it's going to land if Shea Adams is going to get there. So that's why it wasn't upgraded to red.
Yeah, and I think it's the right decision. I think Ronnie, Callum, you support Celtic, you support Dundee United, I support Hearts. If that was against your team, you wouldn't expect a red card because it's not a red card. I think the yellow card was the correct decision. So, and I think Ronnie's right. I think we've got ourselves into a situation here in Scotland with a dogso that is it's causing more problems than it needs to, and we've kind of backed ourselves into a corner with it.
See if he gives the red card though, Ewan, is VAR going to overturn that?
Probably not.
Well,
it's so on the edge.
I think
it's
it would
interpretation,
overturn it.
Isn't it, Ronnie?
Yeah. John McGinn's one. we had that pitch side digital spot next to the goals, and it's where all the cameras are and everyone's trying to take digital shots. I'm sure I ruined everyone's digital shot of that because I was screaming, "That's a penalty!" We're not supposed to do that. Pitch said I only get kicked out by FIFA. I just thought, no one's going to convince me otherwise. I just think that's a penalty. I think the contact. I know not all contact's a penalty in X, Y, and Z, but McGinn's by him. He's done well to get by him, and he's taken down.
I thought the McTominay one was more a penalty, and as I said on X last night, I nearly broke my ankle last night jumping up and then screaming at the telly because I thought McTominay was a penalty. I genuinely thought it was a penalty. I still think there's a penalty there. I think it's more than McGinn. I think McGinn kind of runs into his hip. And John McGinn has a bit of a reputation in the English Premier League of being a bit of a diver. He goes down a bit easy and he wins some brilliant free kicks with minimal contact. He's one of the best at it, and I love him for it because it's a strength of his. But I just wonder whether his reputation went before him with that one. But McTominay, for me, I thought that was a stone waller. Honestly, and I still think it's a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would ask for the John McGinn one. If Grant Hanley had done that to Brahim Diaz, would you be terrified thinking that was going to be given as a penalty? I would. I think VAR would give it. The McTominay one, you sent the slow-mo to us after the game.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I'm still speechless and perplexed that wasn't a penalty. I can't understand why VAR haven't asked them to go to the screen and overturn it.
I think they've been very strict this year when it comes to their VAR decisions and VAR getting involved in decisions. And I don't think it's a bad thing. However, when there's something as clear-cut as that, then you start to question it.
I think the referees have allowed the game to flow massively.
It's been a good World Cup, I'll be honest with you. I think it's been good because of that, Ronnie.
I think you're right. I don't think there's not been any major howlers on the field. I know there's some questionable ones about offside in the game early doors, but I've enjoyed it. Do you know what? Just because you fall to the ground when you're shielding the ball, you're a grown man, doesn't mean you get a free kick every time. And I think they're beginning to get wise to it. There's no all these massive protests anymore. They go down and they go, "Oh, I'm not getting this." Well, they're running away. You better get up and start moving again. Clark said after we asked Clark about the penalties and whatnot, and he said the same. He said, "Listen, they're all very fine margins. If every one of them's given the other way around, he doesn't think VAR intervenes. It's just your luck whether your referee thinks to get it because it's kind of on the line, most of them." So he wasn't as raging as I thought he probably would have been. I think he was more just frustrated that he didn't get that goal in the end. But as Ewan said, that we're looking at the probability now of going through. There's the Opta stats still say we're around 70% chance of making it.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, and listen, look, see, at the end of the day, we all want to get into the knockout stages. How we are doing it isn't sitting well with me, which is why I'm very critical, because I just feel we've got such a good squad of players. We should be better than we are. And I think that Steve Clark set up last night to lose 1-0 at worst, because the last thing that he wants and that we want is to be sent home because we didn't score enough goals against Haiti. So he set up against what I think are the best team in the group. I think they're better than Brazil. And they were in second gear last night and they were happy just to take the 1-0. What happens against Brazil? I think he'll set up something similar. And then you have to look at it. We've gone into this World Cup. We've stunk the place out. If what happens against Brazil we expect, then we've stunk the World Cup in the group stages. I saw messages from Martin Nelson and others, Tartan Army, who are out there who are very critical this morning about how we've stunk this place out and we've just not turned up again for a major tournament. But we're going to go into the last 32 having probably had very few shots on goal, very little in the way of excitement, and we've got there with a 1-0 win against Haiti. It doesn't feel exciting. Do you know what I mean?
I hate you today.
No, I do. No, Callum, I do get his point to an extent, right? In my mind, I seen us qualifying through the group in a really good Scottish style. But what I'll say to you, Ewan, is although I agree that if it wasn't for the expansion of 48 to 32, only so many teams leaving, we wouldn't make it through because we're not going to be the top two of the group. But there's going to be teams that get put out that shouldn't be. There's going to be a couple of shocks there. And what I would say is, right, I'm quite selfish in the sense that all I care about right now, because I love them so much, is the fans, right? If we, as you say, stink the place out, get through, and the Tartan Army have one more week of the best week of their life, I'll take that. I will.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because we get one more week of showing the world. And do you know what? See whoever we get. Right now, we're supposed to take on Sweden. There's a possibility of playing Mexico, possibility of Japan. See if we get one of them. I know we're already talking about it, not going through yet.
Yeah.
But listen, you're right. I would love for us to be sitting here, the Tartan Army waking up this morning, already through, going to Miami for a big beach party. Now we're going to Brazil going, I think we need to be slightly cautious. We can't go for the win and get pumped 4-0 because then we're in danger.
Yeah, no, agreed. What I would say about it is that we want to get to the knockout stages and we want to compete. I just feel as if we've gone there with that intention of thinking a win against Haiti is enough. It would appear watching that game last night, that was the mindset. We've got our win. Let's not get hammered by this brilliant team. And they are a brilliant side. And I think that is the way that Steve Clarke has approached it. And see, Nicole, like today, if we get to the last 32 and we get a Germany or a Sweden or a Mexico, and then we turn up and we give it a go and we go out all guns blazing or we qualify for the last 16, then everything that's happened in the group stage will be forgotten.
Yeah.
Because we'll have done something that we didn't expect.
We played a team who are, as of today, Morocco are 6th in the men's world rankings for FIFA, right? And we kept a clean sheet against them, and I know what you're going to say after this, for 95 minutes. And it's so frustrating. Don't get me wrong. I'm really frustrated that we lost a goal in the 74th second, whatever it was. But we kept a clean sheet against the 6th best team in the world for 95 minutes. And I guess, I take your point, the style would be, it'd be nicer if we were playing better football. It'd be nicer if we were getting shots on target. I know that. I would have loved that more. My mates who I met in the stadium, one of them lives out here, my school pals, and 4 of them came out. One was wee boy. And they were just like, I just want to celebrate a goal. And I want to have a chance. I want to like have that moment where we can, one of those. And they didn't even get that. And that's frustrating. No. But to keep a clean sheet against the 6th best team in the world for 95 minutes is no bad.
But as Ronnie pointed out, they were definitely much in second and third gear. What I would say, I've watched quite a bit of this World Cup, Canada have turned up. They've been outstanding. The United States have surprised everybody. Their football is electric. They're battering teams and they're playing great stuff. There's a lot of good football being played. There's great goals being scored and we're not part of that. And that's again part of my frustration is that we haven't turned up like other teams or lesser nations who have turned up and given it a go. Now I know the goal is to qualify.
What I will say, the point I was going to make is we've got Fox over here, a fantastic way of doing things in terms of broadcasting the football. I'm getting a wee bit peed off with the home nation, with the host nations talk, right? Because they're all in pot one. They were all given a great draw. They're no in with Brazil's and Morocco. They're playing Qatar's and they're playing Paraguay's of this world. And right enough, you can only beat what's in front of you. But I don't think we can be compared to them.
Yeah, no, Ronnie, but they're dealing with the Qatars this world where we struggled. Yes, we got the win against Haiti and we all celebrated and it was a brilliant start to the World Cup, even though we were poor in the game, particularly in that second half. But they're dealing with those teams. We struggled against Haiti. That's the point that I'm making here. And listen, as I said, if we get to the last 32 and we play well in the last 32 and we give it a right good go, what's happened in the group stages will be forgotten. A bit like, let's be honest, we weren't great in qualifying for this World Cup. Belarus, we were lucky to get we scraped a 2-1 win at home against them. We struggled away at Denmark. We had 4 magical moments against Denmark at Hampden, but the performance wasn't great. But you forget that because you've qualified for the World Cup. And that's my point. Let's hope at some point that we do turn up and we give the Tartan Army, we've spent thousands of pounds to be there, something to cheer about. Yes, we had something to cheer about against Haiti, but we had very little to cheer about last night. And let's hope for a better performance against Brazil.
I topped the group in qualifying, but we were rubbish. Good point.
If you thought we were sensational in that group when we beat Belarus 2-1, then I'm delighted for you because you're clearly looking at through eyes that nobody else is watching the games.
Saltire tinted specs, mate. Yeah, no, I just think if you're going to win your World Cup qualifying group, you're going to beat Denmark, you're going to beat Greece, you're going to beat Belarus to the top spot. I don't think you can really argue that we were rubbish. That'd be my point. But listen, if you want to look at everything negatively,
Callum, and you know what I'm talking about.
Greece you want to look at everything negatively, that's all on you. I'm trying to enjoy the World Cup. I'm trying to have a good time.
It's like what we do
It's a shame
here
that you
on the
can't.
football podcast. When we talk about teams and we talk about they were lucky to get through, they didn't play well, but the result is all that matters. That's the point I'm making here. Why you're seeing it differently when we discuss similar things about Dundee United, Hearts, Hibs, Aberdeen, Rangers, Celtic. They weren't great, but they got the result. That's what we were. We've not been great, but we've got the result, and it basically glosses over the overall performance. But you want to see it as in, we're Brazil of 1970. We're Brazil of 1982 because we topped the group. You're looking at it through... Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes,
no, it's not what I said.
You've got the blinkers on, mate. You're
You're
not watching the football. You're clearly not seeing what everyone else is seeing. You need to go into social media and see what the Tartan Army are saying about the performance last night, because you, my friend, have woke up clearly watching a different game from the rest of us.
Yes, I'm the one in the wrong. You're right. I just talking absolute nonsense. I'm the guy who's trying to enjoy Scotland at a World Cup, but I'm the bad guy.
We all are. We just want to be better.
You should try it, mate.
You should try it. What's wrong with that, Callum? We want to be better than what we've shown so far. We've got players that are better than that. That's all we're saying.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that point.
Right,
but to
then
say we were rubbish in qualifying and to act as if it's been a disaster, it's not. We have 3 points. And if we don't get battered by Brazil, we do something we've never done. But God, it seems like we're bottom of the group, no points, and players have had to go home.
I use I.
Is it wrong? Right, Ronnie, you're like the referee here. Is it wrong that I want to see my team be better?
No, listen, absolutely not. I get that. Listen, right, I get both the points to an extent. Do you know what you and I do? I wanted us to be better in these first 2 games. I wanted us to beat Haiti by a couple of goals and spark this campaign off in the best possible fashion.
Yeah.
We had fans leaving the Boston Stadium that night, deflated, right? But what I will say, though, is we had fans leaving the Boston Stadium against Morocco going, we pipped them up the whole way in the last 25, half an hour. We were the ones dominating it. So they're not crestfallen just yet. They're somewhere in the middle of you two, where I think the majority of the Tartan Army are. They are sort of maybe just edging into Ewan's half, thinking, come on, we've only got possibly one game left. Leave it all out there. But they're not all as negative as that. Some of them are going, I don't care. If we qualify out a group and get another week of this, who knows what can happen? And I'll say it again, winning World Cup games can be tough. So why don't we all just be friends, okay? Because I'm getting people, he's shouting from the other side of this veranda, and I'm getting mad Americans looking up going, what the hell's going on over here? A woman walked her dog and got a fright because he started shouting about saltire tinted spectacles. Sorry, him. Sorry. The podcast. STV Radio. You'll love it. Right, so we're going to start wrapping up here, folks, because we've got another podcast in a couple of days, just before the Miami game. In terms of logistical stuff, we fly out to Miami this evening before Scotland head back to Charlotte for a couple of days for their training camp, and then we all descend once again on the Sunshine State. What's the latest with you?
Nothing much, mate, to be honest with you.
I don't mean your life. I mean, are you coming to Miami?
Oh, nice.
Honestly,
I was about to tell you about my kids and my wife and what we're getting up to. and what I was going to be having for my tea tonight.
I get the feeling that the listeners and the viewers of this are going to really side with me this podcast. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling that I'm going to come out of this looking quite good compared to you two. Right,
yeah, I think you will. I think you will.
Miami. Genuinely, I'm blowing smoke up where the sun don't shine. People are desperate to know if you are coming to Miami. We have genuinely been stalked by everyone.
I know. I keep getting messages talking about if I'm coming to Miami or not. I have looked out flights that leave on the Tuesday morning. I'd be in Miami on the Tuesday night. So I'm going. We'll see. I'm going to have a wee conversation or two today, but we'll see.
Gonna just do it. Come on.
I would need to top and tail with one of you.
Mate, you can come. That's fine with me. We'll argue in bed.
Like jilted lovers.
Considering the medical week, Callum said, I don't know if you'd want to.
Ronnie, we're not supposed to talk about that, all right? We're not supposed to. That was private.
Oh, fantastic.
So when you flying to Miami tonight?
Tonight. Yeah, tonight. And what very quickly, what I will say is, last night at that game, standing pitch side next to Bono, the keeper, not the guy from U2, and Ronnie's to my right hand side, and we're watching the second half, 10 yards from the goal. Genuinely one of the greatest experiences of my life in terms of football, to stand pitch side, watching Scotland come out, seeing the national anthem, watching us play in that second half. I got to see my dad, obviously my schoolmates. Emotional and incredible. And Ewan, I cannot stress enough, it's once in a lifetime stuff. And if that helps convince you, please come out here, because I can't wait for people in Miami dressed in kilts calling you a prick in the street. That's what I'm here for.
Mate, I get up and do Socky Hall Street every night.
Because that's it. It might be once in a lifetime. Because 2034 is 4 years away. This squad's aging. And then in 2034, it's in Saudi Arabia. So there's no chance of me getting out of that. So this might be my only chance. So, listen,
how we laugh.
just take it and we can get it. Not literally, obviously. Right, that is us. That is us. We are calling it there. Thank you so much for listening.
We're
and
definitely
for watching.
calling it there.
Like, share, and subscribe on all our social media channels. Our new YouTube channel.
Exciting.
Go and check it out. We'll clip this up. We'll send it out, and the clips will be with your social media feeds very, very soon. My thanks to the one and only Ewen Cameron live from Glasgow, to the lovely Callum Bell on Veranda B, and I am Ronnie Charters on Veranda A. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back in Miami for the next match day -1. It is Scotland versus Brazil. We will see you all then. Thanks for watching. Take care.
The STV Radio Football Show, brought to you by C.R. Smith.
The STV Radio Football Show is brought to you by C.R. Smith. C.R. Smith are local everywhere in Scotland. They offer great finance rates so you can get the best products for your home at an affordable rate. C.R. Smith are Scotland's top-rated windows and doors company on Trustpilot. Make sure you're on the ball. Head to crsmith.co.uk to get stuck into the amazing windows and doors. Thank you very much to C.R. Smith, and thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time on the STV Radio Football Show.